As of right now, Ride the Ducks does have the green light to open back up, but you can see here they have chosen to stay closed temporarily. So instead now of buying tickets here, people are instead giving prayers. Trump's tweets over the last 24 hours, it really paints a picture of what we could expect him to talk about today. Now, he has already commented on his landmark meeting with Putin. Yes, it was, and police are still out here conducting their investigation this morning. We actually just saw some officers back here by this house with flashlights. You can see the crime scene tape still up, and the forensics investigation truck is over here as well. Take a look at this tree. This is a pretty big tree that came down in this person's front yard, and this has been the story basically for almost every house along this stretch here. We want to walk down here. This person's going to have a hard time actually getting to work this morning. Through these branches here, you can actually see a car. You see twigs and branches from where the water was. So the good news here is that the water is receding, but you can see it's still very damaging. There are 2 cars, 3 cars if you count the one over there, that drove into this water and have been stuck here for hours. But I want to point your attention down to Fairmont Liquors. Good morning. This airport was hit hard by the storm. It damaged several planes, smashed the windows of nearly 20 cars, and chipped the paint, and it forced officials to work overnight to clear the runway and fix a gas leak. Now, in that surveillance video, you can see her walking out those doors and walking over to a car to give that driver their order. That's when she saw a car coming down 39th Street and starting to swerve. She says she jumped on the roof of the car to try to avoid it, but it was too late. Caitlin says it happened so fast. In that video, you can see her being thrown 10 feet over here. The impact was so hard, her shoe fell off of her. Now that driver took off as other people ran over to help Caitlin. She believes it was a black Chevy, either an Impala or a Malibu. Now out here right now, you can still see the skid mark on the side of this Tiki Taco delivery truck from where that car hit her. And you can also still see some of the debris that we're finding on the street from that impact of that car. Now, police still looking for that driver tonight. This is what a heartbroken community looks like. You can see signs, flowers, candles out here in front of the entrance to Ride the Ducks. You can even see people out here now lighting some of those candles tonight. Now, today, about 200 people gathered for a memorial service to show support for the families of the 17 victims who lost their lives when one of these duck boats capsized.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be your name.
Now they're not going home. You know, it's very painful. It hit me hard.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
People here are in disbelief and shock.
I was so overwhelmed, I burst out crying.
The Soderstrums are just one of the dozens of people who showed up at the College of the Ozarks today for a memorial service honoring the 17 people who died.
I think it's something that kind of shakes us to our core.
Today, we're all family.
Family is the word we heard over and over. It's the way people treat others around here. And the community wants to show the families deeply hurting right now that they stand with them. First responders also needed prayers. These young boys volunteered and saved lives.
We were just talking about our faith, that these folks that have perished, we hope for eternal life.
Many now are wanting answers about why the boat was out on the water with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. 2 separate investigations are underway.
I think there needs to be consequences there, and I don't think too many people from Branson would disagree with that. I wouldn't mind at all if the company got shut down.
As of right now, Ride the Ducks does have the green light to open back up, but you can see here they have chosen to stay closed temporarily. So instead now of buying tickets here, people are instead giving prayers. Imagine downtown Kansas City without venues like Kansas City Live, without the Sprint Center, and without new units like One Light. Well, that was just 10 years ago. Now 3,900 new units are planned for downtown Kansas City, but people living in the city still say it's hard to find a place to rent on a budget. It's the busy rush of downtown. that has people coming back. But for Trisha Zion, the road back to the city has quite a few traffic jams.
I probably looked at 20 different places.
Zion settled on this 2-bedroom apartment in Midtown near Costco after weeks of searching.
I'm not looking for something luxury. I just need, something that's not got rats in it, and like it will take my dog and is livable, but it's difficult to find that here.
The problem she found is there's not many apartments for rent that young professionals can afford.
I know I looked at one place on the plaza and they wanted like $1,200 for a studio, and I was like, that's how much it is in California. I'm like, how do you get away charging that?
You'll see those prices all the way from the plaza up to the river market. Curtis J. knows the numbers. He's a realtor and helps people like Zion find those few affordable places. Are there really enough places like that for people?
There's not. There's not a lot of places that are affordable for, the mass.
Let's compare rent costs. A 600 square foot studio at One Light runs $1,350 a month. It comes with a pool, in-unit laundry, and granite. A cheaper option by KC Loft Central comes to $950 for about 700 square feet. But this apartment, no granite and no stainless steel. Remember, just 10 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot downtown.
There's a big demand. For the longest time, there has not been the supply.
Now it's a game of catch-up. New buildings are popping up here and there, but not fast enough for past renters like Shelby Whitmire.
Honestly, I think I found plenty of places that had everything I wanted, but I had to have a roommate because I couldn't afford it.
She now owns, besides having a roommate, it's another solution to avoid the high prices. According to Jay, things could change in the next few months. Next year, 2 Light will be up $531 grand in the River Market and quite a few new lofts in the Crossroads Art District. No, this doesn't mean prices are going down, but more places to live are going up. So that means we'll see apartments offering incentives. You'll see free months rent or free parking, helping to cut down on the initial cost of your move. In downtown Kansas City, Stephanie Kayser, KCTV 5 News.
The history is so fascinating that it just wakes me up in the morning.
It takes patience to travel long distances, and Rinker Buck says you need a lot of it on this boat.
This boat travels at roughly 4 miles an hour, 1,000 miles on the Ohio, and 1,000 miles on the Mississippi.
The Patience isn't like any other boat along the Ohio River today.
It is an exact replica of an exact boat.
It's modeled off of the flatboats that used to ford the river back in the 1800s.
It took me 4 months to build it, but once I built it myself with the help of a flatboat builder, I got the confidence.
Confidence to take the expedition he had dreamed of and travel from Elizabeth, Pennsylvania, all the way to New Orleans, Louisiana.
Well, the adventure of it, but also that it would make a better book.
So now Buck is taking careful notes, detailing every day on this small boat.
I've got every different day. Here's people I meet along the way.
So when he gets home, he can retell the lost era where flatboats changed the landscape of the river.
But the American economy was created right on this river.
Buck says the generosity of the people along the river is surprising. This week, he's tied up at a private dock in Newburgh, a pit stop getting ready for the rough water of the Mississippi.
We've had all the adventures and misadventures that you would expect on a trip like this.
And it's that glimpse into the past that keeps this history buff's hands on the steering wheel with the compass pointing southwest.
We're probably the last wooden flatboat that'll actually go to New Orleans like this.